This is What's Neat Show number 105, February 8th of 2020. We got some locomotives, cars, and a whole lot of other stuff, so just stay tuned for this episode.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That was pretty.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. And by the Gateway St. Louis 2020 NMRA. Meet me in St. Louis, July 12th through the 18th, 2020. For more information on this, check out their website at www.gateway2020.org. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast.
This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 105 for February 8th, 2020. I've got my favorite crew with me, and Doug Howell is running camera. I love it when you do that. Man, you work good. I've got Mike Budde with us this evening. Rock and roll. We love it when you're sitting in that spot, Mike. I've got the koala bear right here on the microphone. I've got Sugar Fire Joshua Barton sitting next to me right here. Of course, we've got Daniel Coombs over there. Did you see the words underneath him? Hi, Daniel.
Hi.
And
DCC.
James Regier sitting right here. And it's been a rather busy week.
All right, folks.
And here we go. I'm just going to launch into it so that you guys can talk when I'm... It's been nutty weather. It's been the craziest weather I can't explain to you, but I have not been able to do a photo shoot since last Saturday when you saw me outside shooting the NNS locomotives, the Go Rail. That was and in fact, that's on the Athearn website today. Thank you for pointing that out to me tonight, guys. But it's been really crazy, as you see from this footage I'm running. I mean, it's just been enough snow just so you can't do anything outside, and it's been nothing but gray clouds, and that's pretty much the way it was. Last night, when I called you on the phone, James, we had the prettiest snow going on. Again, just enough where you couldn't go outside and do a nighttime photo shoot, but it wasn't enough to plow. And that's been pretty much our weather for the last 2.5 weeks, which has gotten in the way of production of still photography and a lot of different stuff. But I've got to tell you what, I've been, again, because of the weather being the way it was, I've been doing more stuff on the layout inside here. Not really deferred maintenance, but more or less improvements at this point. Sure. The brand new 13-foot section that we built in that What's Neat video that ran a month and a half ago is now got the blue backdrop sky. I've been working on that, painting clouds on that, trying to make the narrow gauge trackage disappear. And it's kind of been fun to work in here on the layout doing those different things. I also did an absolutely amazing photo shoot today because the sun did come out. Thank you very much, Lord.
Right.
And I shot this gorgeous Norfolk Southern GP49. Now, when I said that during show notes tonight, a lot of heads turned because a lot of folks have never heard of a GP49 before.
Yeah.
This is number 4600, and of course the weather was nice, so I shot videotape outside of me doing the shoot. And I didn't do anything special other than, instead of stacking scenery, I stacked freight cars and buildings. You see the Wathers. This is the paper mill building in the background of what you're seeing right now. And it worked out really great just using those great big buildings as background props. And then I took out this Southern GP38-2. We all know what those are. This is the one fitted with oil bath filters. How accurate is Athearn on that? And this is locomotive number 5027W, right? Gorgeous engine. I shot multiple photos of this one because the walkways have got striping on them, and I wanted to get a top shot like this. And of course, I also shot videotape outside during the photo shoot of this one. And this was a different scene. I didn't use any buildings in this photo, and you don't have to use buildings. Sometimes too much is too much. It's just enough to use switchyard freight cars in the background as the background for the shot, if that makes any sense. But the fact is, you layer the freight cars instead of layering the scenery, and it still makes for a very interesting shot. The only thing to make a shot like this better is if you did a foreground shot where you've got people standing next to the locomotive. Because when you put model people in a photograph, for some reason, it always brings that photo to life.
It adds that human touch.
So that's kind of what I've been doing this week. I'm glad I was able to get that out and talk to you guys. Who wants to have it next? Tell me what's been going on. You see that Moonrise tonight?
Oh, I did. In fact, I texted Ken about it, and Ken said I was just filming it right now to talk about on the show. So,
It was beautiful. There's some barges out there working too. Are we going to shoot a bridge maybe tonight after the show?
We could. I'll see what I have with me.
I know. Look forward to that in next week's broadcast if we actually pull it off. But the fact is, it hasn't been that cold. It's 43 degrees out there tonight. It's just right.
I know just the bridge to use, too.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, that's right. The one you got at K10's there
That's right.
a while ago.
That's a neat bridge. Here's a video of Joshua pulling it off of the doorway.
Yeah.
That's a pretty sturdy
And, they have
bridge.
another one on the doorway at K10's just like it.
You couldn't beat it. $159 for this. It's
Yeah.
4 pieces of metal. I contacted the individual that actually manufactured this bridge, and he has a real job, and so it's not his full-time job. But I'm going to extend contact one more time and see if he's interested in making any of these for people in the event that they want one of them.
Well, they are beautiful, and they're pretty sturdy
Yeah,
construction.
very,
Yes.
very well
Now-
put together.
Are they metal?
That'll probably be the strongest
Yeah,
part of your
they're
layout.
heavy. Very heavy.
That's cool. Rock and roll, Mike, what do you got going on? I see your vehicles on the table all the way across the table tonight.
Right. Well, last week I brought those Camaros that I was working on for the auto racks, but this week I started casting some Firebirds, and that first one there on the left is a model of Jim Rockford's car on Rockford Files. I don't know
Love
if you
the
remember that
Rockford
show.
Files.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Yeah, he had a Pontiac Esprit, and I converted that from the black car behind it, the Real Rides Smokey and the Bandit car. So I just did a little bit of modifications on it to make it a lower trim level Pontiac for my auto rack
Wow,
loads.
that
Yeah,
looks
that's very
dynamite.
cool.
So then the car next to it is also a movie car. That's Eddie Murphy's crappy Blue Nova from
Eddie Murphy.
yeah.
Very nice.
So, and then the rest of the cars are basically just they get older as you go to the right, and they show varying degrees of weathering. And this subject was brought up to me by a guy from New York named Ben Damon, and he talked about just spraying your autos with dull coat, which I don't like
Right.
doing because it covers up the windows and the chrome, and nobody would drive a car like that. So I was saying that I do have a dull finish and a flat finish on a lot of my cars, but I always make sure that the windows are clear and the chrome is still shiny because
Right.
in real life that's the way things are.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've done different kinds like sanding on them and layering paint and different fun methods I tried weathering. That last one there that Doug's filming now, that red GMC or Chevy pickup truck, that's an old Bush model. And I layered some paint on that and then shot it with a sandblaster over here at Ken's one time to chip the paint away to give it a weather.
I love how you do patina. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yes,
There
Yeah.
there are people that when they get cars like that, they simply clear coat that because they love that effect.
Yeah,
The
right.
patina
Yeah, the real
rust.
ones, right.
Yeah.
I know
Right.
that's kind of in now.
And you actually really replicate that effect well on these small cars, Mike.
Yeah, the older they get, the more a little bit of rust they would have on them. But yeah, I think that's you can weather your vehicles just like you weather your trains and everything else.
Right.
Because I mean, if you just want to use Bachmann cars, that's okay. But the more realistic your vehicles are, the more realistic the whole scene is.
Right.
I believe anyway.
That is so true.
Every little
So-
bit counts.
That's
Absolutely.
3 things you can always tell in a photograph of a model is the vehicles, the couplers, and the figures.
Right.
And you mentioned earlier about populating the scenes with figures. I think that only works if you're using really high-end
Right.
figures like Preezer or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
You know, the lower-end ones can sometimes detract from a scene. I don't know if I should say that, but
No, I
that's-
know what you're saying. The figures that
and
look
that-
like globs
just like-
don't look
yeah.
that great.
Right.
But some of the figures from these European manufacturers
They're
that are
unreal.
literally
Yeah.
scanning human beings now.
Yeah.
They
Real
scan
people.
them. Yes.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
get models of people.
Actual facial expressions.
I guess I
and
need to get a
everything.
James Garner to stand next to that Firebird.
Yeah.
I,
that's
th-
a
I
good
think you
idea.
can get Angela Merkel as well.
Oh, yeah.
They used to sell a Barack Obama and Mrs. Obama. I wonder if
Yeah.
they sell a Donald Trump. I haven't looked, but you know what? Rock and roll. Whatever you guys want. But you know what, Mike? Your stuff absolutely floors me. It's just and how's the auto racks coming with the
I'm still working on the cars. If I'm doing 3 racks, I need 45 of those Camaros and Firebirds. I probably have about 20 done so far.
How
That'll
about
be an
that?
awesome auto rack, though.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Very
But I'm still wrestling with the windows. Though. On that Firebird, I used the Scotch tape method on the back window, which I was kind of afraid of. But the first one went okay. I might learn to do it better. I thought I would cast it in clear resin for a while. I was kind of wrestling with that idea too, but I think I'm just going to go with tape, see how it works.
Yeah.
So I'll keep you guys posted of the progress, I'm sure.
It's absolutely amazing, Mike. Now, James, you've got your vehicles here that you've been putting the LEDs on. I see you got the rear taillights on them now.
Yes.
Tell me what's going on with these.
Well, so the International truck is probably the most different. I mean, I added the clearance lights to the Ford there. But that International truck, I had to put in mirrors, and so I scratch built them just from brass wire, and a little bit of styrene for the mirror plates themselves, and then I used that Molotov chrome pen for the
Right.
mirror reflective surface. It really works nice for that, and I think that's what you use for a lot of the chrome detailing on your cars.
Those are a miracle to me.
And then I did the windows on the truck as well. And the windows, I used two methods for the side windows and rear windows. I used the micro crystal clear, which kind of makes a nice side window and all that. But for the windshield, I used a variation of your Scotch tape technique. I had these plastic packaging bags that came with the models, no use for them, and so I cut little pieces of them, used the micro crystal clear to secure that, and that worked pretty well too. Just waited for it to set up
Nice.
enough so that I could go in and trim it, and
Yeah.
it worked pretty nicely. And then one more thing I wanted to talk about, the combine, that's a neat thing that I got. That's a side piece, a neat piece that Athearn made several years back. And
That is nice.
I'd really like it if Athearn would make those again, because those sell for top dollar on eBay lately.
What does something like that sell for on eBay?
I've seen them anywhere from 50 to 100, and MSRP was like 23.
I wonder if it's because of the
Something like that.
How
licensing.
about
John
that?
Deere
Well, it's got
licensing.
Well,
etched
some of the-
detail on it. It's
That's
beautiful.
why Athearn doesn't make it anymore. I think it has
Okay.
to do with licensing, but the value is just because people want them. They're
Right.
in demand.
Right.
I mean, there are entire Facebook groups devoted to searching for agricultural equipment
Those,
just because it's not quite made as much.
Those Athearn tractor trailers that they ran about 10 or 15 years ago are like gold now too.
Yeah.
Like the ones we used to see on the highway, like the pie trucks and consolidated freight, and those are really worth a lot of money.
And don't forget, nothing runs like a deer.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I was going to mention was just the headlighting technique on that Ford, because with the International Harvester, that's a Walthers resin model, and so you have far enough to drill back into the resin body that you can put in your headlight, and it works pretty nicely. But that's not the case with the Ford, because it's thin styrene. Very
How
very
about
good for high
that?
detailing.
Yes.
So what you have to do, it's the same technique I used to put ditch lights on this locomotive, 2875. We've seen it in various shots. What you do, or what worked for me, I just took plastic styrene, layered it just enough so that it would have the desired thickness, cut off enough of a lens from a styrene tube or of a rim, and then you just drill back again just enough to put in the LED and put in the lens on top of it.
Right.
And you've got yourself a ditch light. In fact, at the Magic House, I did up a locomotive like that 2000 as well, the Terminal Railroad Association. But these are just techniques where you can put in the LED and put in your ditch lights and have it at whatever brightness you want it, but not take up a lot of real estate on the locomotive, because that's one thing you don't want. You don't want anything to look clumsy or out of place.
That's
Right.
fantastic. Man, I love it. Last week you were just absolutely informative about so much material, and tonight is no less. Now, tonight we showed Mike, how to work with the NCE Power Cab.
Pro Cab.
The Pro Cab.
Wireless.
That's what we use in
Yeah.
my basement, is a Pro Cab. In fact, you've got it in your hand right now,
Right.
Mike. Tonight, Mike got user-friendly with this, because we showed you essentially how to, you've got this beautiful number 3100 Frisco
Right.
on the
The
table.
last Frisco
and you got to
paint.
run it tonight for the very first time
Yeah.
using this system.
Right.
Daniel set up your locomotive where it was number 3100 on the throttle.
Oh,
and
I
so
did.
Did you do that too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike did.
How about that?
Well, I showed
Yeah,
him.
he showed me how to do it. But
All I
then,
remember is I showed up at the video camera to videotape you actually pushing the buttons to select number 3100, and I'm showing the screen of the NCE Pro Cab as we're doing it, and it was simple. You hit the select button. Is that what you did?
Right.
Select locomotive, and then it showed on the screen which locomotive do you want to select, and you pushed in there 3100,
Right.
and the whole time this thing was not attached to anything. It was working wirelessly.
All wireless.
Through
Yep.
the
Right.
radio.
And then hit
and
enter.
sure enough, your horn worked.
Gotta
You
hit enter
Did you hit
first.
enter?
Right.
Okay. So select locomotive number,
right,
enter.
enter.
And that was it.
Right.
How easy
Right.
was that?
Pretty easy.
And it
One,
was
two,
a-
yeah.
three. You're done.
And that,
One,
and that
two,
was a
three.
beautiful S5T I was hearing.
Well, the thing I really like about
Yeah.
DCC is all the light features. When I was a kid growing up, I watched those Frisco engines with the rotating cab lights,
Yeah.
the gyro light on the front, and I
Yeah.
just thought that was so cool. And there was nothing like that in HO scale when I was a kid. And now that I'm old enough to really appreciate it, I'm glad that there's a way I can really make it work.
And that's
How
one
awesome
thing.
is that?
That's one thing I like about the Frisco too. I mean, how many railroads did both the gyro light
Right,
and the
and the
beacon on
beacon,
top?
yeah.
You know, I mean that. I got one of those at the Magic House just specifically for that visual interest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty awesome. It's just flashing all over the place.
That locomotive's kind of special too because it's the last one that was painted in Frisco, red
There you
or
go.
orange
Yeah.
and white.
Wow.
Yeah.
The subsequent units from that order were painted in Burlington Northern.
Oh yeah, we were observing though that the schemes kind of lives on in the terminal,
Rail.
Right. Yeah.
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 Here comes July, guys, the NMRA show, July 12th through the 18th. You get to meet all of us at that show. We're going to be broadcasting live the What's Neat This Week podcast from the center of the train show itself. There's two different parts of the show. The first couple of days
Right,
through the
that's the
week
convention.
is the convention, the NMRA convention, and we've been going through and working closely with the manufacturers now because he's selling out the lanyards, the bags, and advertising that's in the timetable
In the
book,
timetable,
which
yes.
all 1,600 registrants, the folks that actually attend that convention for that week period of time, will get. That's where you go on the layout tours. You get to go on the various things that their attractions are going to have around St. Louis, where you get to go ride on a real train or go to a real railroad where they build stuff or see all these various industries in town. All of
Right.
this now will be on the NMRA website as of the first week of March. That's when the brand new website will be complete, and it'll show all the layout tours you can sign up for and all the other activities that you can sign up for. Next week, we will have Brad Joseph and some of the officials from the NMRA on the show with us to further explain some new things that are coming up. This show is evolving, it's going together, and it's going to be one of the best NMRA shows ever. St. Louis, Missouri, July 12th through the 18th. For more information, check out their website, and that is gateway2020.org.
Meet me in St. Louis.
How about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, right.
Now,
St.
Joshua,
Louis.
he isn't talking tonight, but you know what? He's been working on a layout. Joshua, tell us about this really cool layout you are building.
I have. I started a whole new concept. It's a version of the Mopac Railroad, which I'm a Missouri
Yes.
Pacific
Me
fan.
too.
Yeah.
And it's the DeSoto sub. It's actually the town of DeSoto. I've done a ton of research on it. There was once a 34-stall roundhouse there, which was the biggest roundhouse in Missouri.
Wow.
It is long for gone, but the concept that I'm doing is DeSoto in modern times if the roundhouse stayed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a 21-foot by 8-foot layout. It actually has an actual bar, a drinking bar that I'm building and incorporating it into the layout.
I'm looking
That's
at
right.
these photographs.
You're going to have a river in there with actual
Yes.
3D printed salmon, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try and do it Luke Town if it
Salmon.
works out for
Yeah.
me.
In the
Salmon.
Merrimack?
Well,
Yeah. Last video.
it's actually called Joachim Creek.
Oh, okay.
But that will run in the bar top. I'll have that all acrylic in.
I love the stain color you're using.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks a lot
It's
very
beautiful.
familiar, huh?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see trains running. Once you get that up and running, we'll do a What's Neat
I'm
segment with
hoping
you.
to get the first track laid down in the next couple weeks.
Awesome.
Oh, neat.
Daniel,
And-
put it in your
yes.
calendar. We got to go down
That's
there and
right.
check it
Yeah.
out.
And
All right,
this will
I
be
will.
the first
Don't worry.
layout that I know of that has an actual 187th scale full street that you can drive on, you can park on.
There you go.
You'll be able to drive all the way around the 8-foot by
Oh, man.
21-foot layout.
That's
So
right. You got some of those
Nice.
fancy little.
I do.
RC
I have
cars.
a ton of
Cars.
RC cars.
Yeah, we need-
I'm working with a couple people that shall remain
Nice.
nameless right now.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
We're trying to get some other vehicles in there, and
That'll be fun.
yeah. So
John Tyson will come down and drive all the way
yeah,
around.
I'm
Ed
totally,
Richardson.
totally
There you go.
down.
You gotta put a little Google camera car on there so that you
Yeah.
can
Oh, that looked cool. Yeah.
That would be awesome. So
Daniel, you've got some engines on the table. Tell me, what have you got up your sleeve? And by the way, congratulations on your new employment.
Well, thank you for
that's
that.
right.
First off, however, cannot disclose where I'm working. I'm just working in a dealership or whatever. But okay. Anyways, as Ken had mentioned, here on the left of me are 2 locomotives that I have done personally. So if many of you guys know, I'm a DCC freak. We'll call it that.
A freak,
Yeah.
an expert.
I am basically going to offer my public Facebook page called Daniel Coombs Consulting, as you see here on this business card.
Daniel Coombs Consulting.
Looked it up on Facebook.
page.
DCC.
Yeah, DCC.
Okay.
And
nice.
DCC, I get
what
it.
it is, I do a few locomotive installs, or I can help answer questions, because I had some of you guys as viewers come up to me if you meet me in person or on Facebook, say, hey, what's this? What's that? You know, can you go through this? Well, let's just put it this way. If you want me to do an install, I can be contacted through my Facebook page. So it's as complicated as a blue box, hard wire, as you see right here with Digitrax 9-pin, to the simple plug and play with the new 21-pin decoders. I could pretty much do it all. So again, just contact me through my Facebook page. I'm still trying to get an email and a separate phone number established, just so my personal accounts are not swamped with so many of you guys' requests for questions. It's not just service. I do questions, inquiries, and maybe some tips about how do you do this, how do you do that. Feel free to reach me. Again, Daniel Coombs Consulting, as you see from my business cards.
Do you
Awesome.
put engines together that fell on the floor?
No.
Okay.
Just the just electronic install, but
Thought I'd ask.
yeah, that's all right.
All right, guys, this is the best hobby in the world. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to Joel Priest. You'll remember Joel as being the son of Stephen
yeah.
Priest and
Yeah.
Cynthia Priest. Rock and roll. Joe has just graduated from basic training. He will then be in the armed forces. Joel, congratulations.
Congratulations,
Sure.
Joel. Thank you.
Stephen Priest and Cynthia, you've got to be so proud. What an awesome individual he is. So
Yes.
congratulations. Hats off to
Very
you.
smart.
And thank you very much for your future service. And with that, this is the best hobby in the world. Show number 105. Guys, let's go run some trains.
All
All
right.
right. All right. Clapping.
Everybody got on. We did it in 21 minutes.
Wow.
Now I need an opening.
This is show
Okay.
105 of Car Talk.
He's doing it. Are you doing it?
Oh,
You're doing it? Are you?
I'll be your backup in case you float.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Thank you,
two do it together? Can you get them both at the same time? What would they say? How would they exchange your thoughts?
We would have to say the same thing at the same time, or I'd have to he'd say something and I'd say something.
Okay,
Then we
fine.
both say
Sounds like a
something.
bad idea.
Yeah,
wanna do
this
it,
is
Joshua?
bad.
I don't care. That's
Somebody
fine.
do it. Who's doing
I'll do it.
Flip a coin?
I got a coin. Hold on.
Welcome back. This is Car Talk.
Let's just James do it.
Yeah.
Because all Josh just said last week was this is show blah blah blah. I'm not gonna say another word.
Well, that was awesome.
That was
That was awesome. Yeah.
probably got some cracks out of that one, viewers.
Fine, Daniel, you're opening it.
Ah, shh.
Go ahead.
Go,
Come on.
let Daniel
You
do
can
it.
do it.
All right.
Come on.
Daniel can do it.
You
Yes.
can do it.
It's number 105, Daniel.
February 8th of
Don't worry about the
2020.
date. Just show number 105. We got a lot of great stuff on the table. Cars, locomotives, engines, you name it. It's here. 105, guys. Let's go.
And don't drive like Daniel.
Right. Okay, we're all going to hum in on you as you come in. Ready?
Okay.
Hello.
That was your
Okay.
cue.
Sorry.
That was your cue there.
Try it
Let's try
again.
that again.
This is What's Neat Show number 105.